See, doesn't it look like porcupines? The little rice poking out. Look at the steam rise up. Oh dear. So I think this is turning out wonderfully. Well, hi, I'm Amy Roloff, so welcome to my little kitchen. Wow, I think in the last week, well, I shouldn't say the last week, a couple of days ago, I made Italian wedding soup, which is a meatball. Today, we are going to make a childhood memory of mine. It's probably a recipe that has been around in various ways, for a long, long time. But I kind of grew up with it as a kid in the Midwest, Michigan. And I just remember my mom making these, and later on I made them, but I have not made them in a long, long time. In fact, if I've made this recipe with for my kids and family, I do not remember. So I'm excited to come back to this recipe. It's kind of a variation of a meatloaf. I think like a lot of dishes, they're variations of something that's basic, and we kind of elevate it or make it our own or turn it into something else, but we start with a basic. Anyway, we're making porcupine meatballs, and I love it because in the Upper Peninsula, we have the Porcupine Mountains. Now, why it is called a mountain, I don't know. It may be a little hilly. Maybe it's all the trees, sticking up. And, the pine trees and, stuff like that. I don't know, but we're making porcupine meatballs, which I think is really, really kind of cool. My biggest question is how do I want to cook my meatballs, and what do I serve the meatballs with? Porcupine meatballs have rice in it. So if I already have rice, do I also want to serve it with rice? So of course I asked Chris, and of course he says, no, mashed potatoes. So we might serve it with mashed potatoes with some green beans. Now my other question is, do I cook this in the oven, or do I make the meatballs and they simmer and cook in a nice, rich, like tomato sauce? So anyway, we'll go ahead and make the meatballs, and hopefully I'll make up my mind as to what I'm doing. So anyway, let's get going. So again, I'm going to try and not make a ton of food because I think we're going to be meatballed out, because I think, yes, I was in Michigan. Chris was over at our neighbor's house, hanging out with some other friends and everything. And somehow we're in like a meatball tomato sauce contest. So I'll be making meatballs again for spaghetti. So I have about a pound of hamburger here. Let me turn on this light. I have about a pound of hamburger here. Just gonna break this up a little bit. Could be slightly over, but start with do a pound of hamburger. Tell you the truth, I probably bought a lot of hamburger, and I'm just using the rest of it. So we are just going to go with this. So about a pound of hamburger. Okay, I'll use this hand for salt. Definitely season your meat. Salt and pepper, and like everything else, salt and pepper. It's like your basics for making a soup. Onions, carrots, celery. That creates your basic, ingredients or whatever. Okay. We're gonna get a little bit of garlic in here because I love garlic. And these meatballs will not, except for the rice, won't be too different than the meatballs I will make Got some skin on there that I will make for this contest that we're in. But, you know, I will make this dish whenever I want. I mean, that's really how I cook. You know, what am I in the mood for? Obviously, I may not be in the mood for beef stew on a hot July summer day. But if it's cold, if I know it's going to be a little bit rainy or cooler in that summer evening, yes, I will go ahead and make beef stew. So that's the same for this recipe. I just don't save it for the winter or the fall time. So I have about 2 cloves of garlic here. I might put the rest of the garlic in with the sauce. So we're just gonna mince these up, or chop them up as fine as you can get. Because unless you want to make garlic meatballs, I don't think anyone really is in the mood to bite into, you know, kind of a large chunk. And I still don't know how I'm going to cook these. I think for like my spaghetti meatballs, I will saute them, brown them in a saute pan. Why that and not here? I think because of the rice, the dried rice in these meatballs, I think that will go, I think the process of cooking the meatballs in the sauce will be a lot better. Okay, then we're gonna add just a little bit of parsley. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, we're just gonna add a little bit of parsley here. We're gonna add, I'm just saying maybe about 1/4 cup of onion. Maybe a third cup. I'm just gonna put a hint of Italian seasonings, just a hint. That's enough. I don't want them to turn into, and then definitely an egg. And then we'll mix, you know what, yeah, I guess a fork's good. I was gonna see maybe if I wanted a spoon. But you do kind of wanna mash this together. And when you do add the rice, you may want, obviously, to, well, not obviously. Like I said, it's been a while since I've made this, so I'm kind of, not winging it, but I'm kind of going by memory and looking at some other different recipes here. So I'm gonna add the egg, but you're adding dry rice to the meatballs, so you need some moisture, even though it is in the sauce, to kind of help it along. And like I said, I don't cut onions in front of you guys because it's a hot mess. My eyes just water so much. I do notice though that if I cut a fresh onion and only use half of it, but stick the other half in the fridge, it's not so bad when I bring that other half out and cut it, like I am here. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, just a little bit more. I want to know what you guys like. You know what? You know what's really hard for me to find in the grocery store, at least where I live, is kosher salt. I can find flaked sea salt, fine sea salt, coarse sea salt, and obviously your regular Morton salt. I prefer, we have a local company here, Jacobson's. I really like Jacobson's salt. You know, and besides, they're a local company. I want to support them. They're doing great. They have all these varieties of salt. I like their lemon black pepper salt and just a lot of stuff. So anyway, okay, I think that is good. I'm gonna add a little bit of paprika. I would say that's probably about a half a teaspoon. Okay. And I have about a 1/3 cup of rice. You can probably go up to a half, but I don't know, I just felt like that was a little bit too much. So I'm adding a 1/3 cup, which just by pouring it in here, I'm thinking that might not be enough. And I'm using a long grain rice. I think because when they cook, it's longer and it will poke out like a, you know, like a little porcupine. Isn't that cool? Okay. Okay, I forgot to get my water, so I will be right back. I think I might go ahead and just add a little bit more rice here because I have a feeling I have a little bit more than a pound of rice. So if I added a 1/3, I'm just gonna add just a little bit more. That'll make it like about a half. Yeah. Okay. And you know what? You know, to make this even, I don't know if you want to call it a little more nutritious, use brown rice. Okay. Let me go get that water. Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it. And I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribe to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you and back to the video. Okay, I probably had all of this stuff in front of you guys. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, here is my meatballs. And one of the reasons I am going to add a little bit water in here because I do not want the rice to take up all of the moisture within the meat and then cause a kind of dried meatball. So we're just gonna use let me get it, measuring spoon. We're just gonna do like a couple of tablespoons, just 1, 2. Just 2 tablespoons of water just to give this meat a little moisture and help with the rice. Okay. I definitely think I have more than a pound. Okay, before I start making these into meatballs, the big decision is how am I gonna cook this? Tell you the truth, I think I'm really gonna cook them in a sauce. I wanna see how that goes. And if I do cook them in the sauce, it will take a little bit longer to cook. So I'm thinking about an hour. So we're gonna head on over to the stove here because I've got to prepare the sauce. So the meatball mixture is ready. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and make our sauce. And I think what I'm gonna do here, instead of going directly to the big saute pan there, is that I'm just gonna mix everything together here, pour it in there, start heating it up, and then making my meatballs here, and then we'll put them in there. Ow, my finger got stuck. Okay, so I have 1 can, about 15 ounces or 14 point whatever. This is crushed tomato puree. I thought that would be very good. I like to get everything out as best I can. It's so funny because it's just Chris and I, and my kids have been so busy, and now we're in the holidays. I really am trying not to make so much food for us that we're wasting it. And here I am worried about a little bit in the can, but I don't know. This is good stuff. So here we are, a can of just tomato sauce. I should have a spoon here. Get all that out. So we got tomato sauce. I'm gonna add in a little bit of red pepper flakes. I just want to give it that little bit of heat. I would like to add some Worcestershire sauce. Did I say that right? Worcestershire sauce. Well, that might be enough. Because, I mean, you're having beef. Oh, I don't have this other one open. I thought for sure that would be have plenty in there, but I don't know. I just want a little bit more. I have tomato paste just in case. I don't know. I would definitely say like maybe 2 tablespoons. A little bit of salt, because I do try and get low sodium so I can monitor my own sauce. And if you think it's a little bit too acidity, I'm going to add in some parsley here. I'm going to chop up some of this garlic here. I think that'll be nice in the sauce. I know there's garlic in the meatballs, but we're going to hopefully complement everything here. So here we go. You know what? My mind is going in 50 million directions here, because what else do I want to add to my sauce? I could add a little bit of onion. But I'm also not pureeing this like I do in my marinara sauce. Like I'll definitely saute the onions and a little bit of the garlic, but I use an immersion blender for that. So we're gonna omit. I just want a really rich, hopefully, rich tomato sauce here. And that's why I think the tomato paste will really help out here. I think I've gotten the garlic here as minced as I can be. So we're going to add that in there. Okay, there we go. It smells so good already, you guys. Okay. I'm going to see how much meatballs I have first. I'm going to see, because I did have a little bit over a pound here, just because I misquoted. And so we're going to get a little pan here. I just want to see how many meatballs I have here. Okay, there we go. You would not think a pound of meat was all that much, but it sure does look like it. Okay, where's a spoon? Where's a spoon? I just get a little teaspoon. I don't know, I kind of like my meatballs a little rough. Okay, there's one. Two. So I'm going to continue on doing this, making my meatballs. Hopefully they'll all be the same size, but we are making porcupine meatballs. We're going to see these the rice peek out of that, and it'll be like a porcupine. Okay, I will finish making this up and we'll head on over to the big pan over here. Okay, I got my meatballs done. So look at that, porcupine meatballs with rice in them. So we are gonna go over to the saute pan and put these on there and then pour the sauce over there and let them cook. I would say this will take anywhere between 40, 45 minutes, depending. So let's go do that. I'll bring you guys over. Okay. There's my pan that I'm going to use, my cast iron pan. There we go. I'm just going to tilt you guys down here just a tad so that you guys can see. There we go. All right. I have my sauce here. And then what is tomato sauce without a little oil? So I'm just going to place these in here. Turn the heat down just a little bit. Oh, my pan is definitely hot. Just going to move them around a little bit. I don't want to scrunch them all up. Definitely thought this pan was going to handle these many meatballs. Okay. So I've got the meatballs in the pan, people. And we're going to pour the sauce over it. And we're just going to let them cook right in here. Kind of cover the meat up within the sauce. I would cook this on medium low. Then I'm going to place a lid over this so a lot of the heat doesn't escape. So there we go. Okay. This is a new way for me to do this, so you guys are going to experiment with me. Will this lid fit? Yeah, this lid will fit. Okay, there we go. We're going to let this all heat up. We're going to have porcupine meatballs. Here, I want to get you guys maybe a little bit closer here. So yeah. So they'll cook right in there. I don't want it to boil away, so may have to turn this down a little bit. Okay, I think I'm ready to dish up dinner. The porcupine meatballs are done, and I think they turned out wonderfully. So I'll bring the pan over here so y'all can see. Oh, it was a little hot. So look at this. I think they came out really well. See, doesn't it look like porcupines? The little rice poking out. Look at the steam rise up. Oh dear. So I think this is turning out wonderfully. So I will dish up. Okay, dinner is served up. Porcupine meatballs. So it's basically ground beef with rice and seasonings cooked in a nice rich tomato sauce. So porcupine meatballs. You can find this recipe over on my YouTube channel at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. And I would so appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to it as well, because you'll find this. Plus, I will try and do a couple of other things on that channel as well. So anyway, thanks for being in my little kitchen. So see you next time.